It is a hard. This is a hard round. It's very hard when people throwing premises at you. You have to come up with jokes and I just Jeffrey, you've been around for a while in the comedy scene. You've seen it all. Do you think that comedy competitions like this are good for comedians' development, or are they? What do you feel about comedy competitions in general, I guess?
Well, I think it's good if people, and I don't know how they did this, if you give them time to prepare. I would have liked to see people come in with jokes on paper and say, I wrote this about these things, and really deliver them like they would do on stage. To me, that's a competition. Like, I don't think that you would really do any of these jokes that you're telling us in your act on stage. Right. I would have liked to see. I would have liked, unless you're into being beaten by the audience. If you're into being beaten by the audience, maybe. But I that's my personal thing. That joke writing is a real craft. It's a very difficult thing to do, and it takes not while you're sitting in the car before you go into the place. It takes weeks. If you know that you're going to be in a competition, then you really prepare for it. That's my personal feeling. No, and so I would have liked to see what you guys would have come up with if you wrote jokes on paper that you could deliver as if you were doing your act, which I understand that you're going to be doing at the end when you do stand-up.
Their best 5-minute sets.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying?
No, I think I agree.
In terms of competition, it's very subjective. Comedy in general is very subjective. What other people are hysterical at, other people are humming.
Like dead kids. Type of
exactly.
Dead kids is always funny to everybody.
I agree, Jeffrey.
It's a very difficult field. That's why it's the hardest thing in the world to do, except for brain surgery, probably. Right. It's probably a little harder. Or dentistry. Yes. That's a difficult thing as well.
And Anthony, you've been around. Like, you were doing comedy earlier on in your career.
Yeah, like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Not to this level.
Right. Now all of a sudden you come out and back in the earlier time, would you have ever, or have you ever been part of a comedy competition, or was it something that you did?
Yeah, it was a competition at Joker's Wild in New Haven. It was 3 judges. They picked their 3 captains. They picked their teams. 6 people. We started out with 8 people on each team, so 24 comics, and I think it went on 6 weeks. And there was a panel of judges, and you started out with a 3-minute set, 5-minute set, 8-minute set, and then a 15-minute set at the finals. Yeah. And
do you feel like that helped you as a comedian grow? Or was it more?
Yes, and I mean, comedy should never be. You should never be in competition with another comedian. Mm-hmm. And what I've dealt with, kind of doing it the way I've done it. People call me, he's a leapfrog. He kind of leapfrogged the whole process of grinding out all the open mics. He started out as a headliner. I'm like, whatever path you take, I have all the respect for the old school comics. Like, I grew up on Robin Williams, George Carlin, Richard Pryor. I mean, they grinded it out because there was no other outlet. Now you have social media. If you platform yourself correctly, you can get out to millions of people in an instant. But when it comes to competition, the mentality that I can't stomach these days is, if I'm successful and you're successful, well, your success is going to fuck up my success. Now, you could both be successful.
There's plenty of room.
Yeah, so there's an abundance.
There's not just one comic. So the competition aspect, I liked it because, you kind of saw how other comics work, how they construct their jokes. You should always be original. I can't stomach when I hear somebody stealing a joke.
Yeah.
But you can also get kind of styles and the way they create their jokes. You can kind of, get that from it. But I mean, listen, I'm a competitive person, but with myself. So competition's good for me because I compete with myself on it. Like, I always try to be funnier. I watch all my sets and I'm like, well, how can I be funnier tomorrow than I was yesterday? So if you take competition the right way, it could always be good. But you should never be in competition with another comedian.
Right, yeah. There's healthy competition, there's negative competition.
Correct.
And healthy competition makes you grow and helps you evolve and get to your best potential. But negative competition is when you want to, be like, what's that guy who hit the girl in the leg with the ice?
Nancy Carey.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
They resent